A billionaire refused to pay me fair value for my tiny lot, so I blocked his penthouse view. The view from the 95th floor of the Zenith Tower was worth $50 million. From the penthouse, you could see Central Park, the Hudson River, and the entire Manhattan skyline. It was the crown jewel of Arthur Sterling's real estate empire. Sterling, a billionaire developer known for crushing his opponents, stood by the floor-to-ceiling window, swirling his scotch. He looked down at the tiny, ugly strip of land next to his construction site. It was a leftover parcel, barely 20 feet wide. He called me into his office that morning. He threw a check for $50,000 on his desk. "Take it, kid," he sneered. "It's charity. Your lot is useless. It's too narrow to build on. Sell it to me so I can build a proper driveway for my limousines." He called my property dirt. He called me a parasite. I picked up the check, tore it into pieces, and let it fall on his expensive Persian rug. "It's not useless, Mr. Sterling," I said, "and I'm not selling. I'm building." "Building?" He laughed. "What are you going to build on a 20-foot lot? A lemonade stand?" "No," I smiled. "I'm going to build a wall." Sterling didn't know that I had spent the last month studying the city's air rights laws. He didn't know that I could legally build a steel structure 300 feet tall on that tiny strip of land. A structure designed for only one purpose: to stand exactly 5 feet in front of his $50 million penthouse windows. He wanted a view. I was about to give him a view of gray steel rivets. Here is the story of how I turned a useless strip of concrete into the most expensive piece of real estate in New York City. My name is Leo. I am an architect by trade, but in New York City, being an architect doesn't make you rich. It makes you tired. I spent 5 years designing luxury condos for people I could never afford to be neighbors with. I wanted to be a developer. But to be a developer in this city, you need millions, or you need to be creative. I spent my nights scanning the city's tax maps, looking for orphaned lots. These are strange shapes of land left over when highways are built or when subway lines are dug up. Most people ignore them. That is how I found Lot 78. It was a sliver of land in Midtown Manhattan. It was sandwiched between an old brick apartment building and a massive construction site where Arthur Sterling was building his new super tower, the Zenith. Lot 78 was a joke. It was 20 feet wide and 80 feet deep. You couldn't build a normal apartment building there. The stairs and elevators alone would take up all the space. It was listed at a tax auction for $10,000. Nobody bid on it, except me. I bought it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew the golden rule of real estate: location, 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 and this location was right next to a billionaire's project. A week after I got the deed, I received a letter. It was on thick, creamy paper with a gold-embossed logo: Sterling Developments. It was a summons, not an invitation. I walked into Sterling's office. It was designed to intimidate. The desk was on a raised platform, so you had to look up at him. "So, you are the genius who bought the alleyway," Sterling said, not looking up from his papers. "It's a lot, not an alleyway," I corrected him, "and yes, I own it." "It's an eyesore," Sterling said. "My trucks need space to turn. Your dirt patch is in my way. I'll give you $50,000. That's 5 times what you paid. Take the win and go buy yourself a nice watch." $50,000 was a good return. A normal person would have taken it, but I didn't like his tone. And more importantly, I noticed something on the architectural model of the Zenith sitting in the corner of his office. The tower had balconies, specifically on the lower floors, floors 10 through 20. The balconies faced directly over my lot. I realized why he wanted the land. It wasn't for trucks. He needed to secure the air rights so his wealthy tenants wouldn't be looking into a brick wall. "I think the land is worth more," I said. "I was thinking $2 million. Sterling's face turned red. $2 million for a parking spot? Get out of my office. You'll starve with that land. You can't build anything on it. The zoning laws require setbacks. It's useless." "We'll see," I said. I walked out. Sterling thought he had crushed me with logic. He was right about traditional buildings, but he forgot that I wasn't a traditional developer. I was an architect, and architects know how to cheat physics. I went straight to my drafting table. I pulled the zoning codes for Midtown. Sterling was right about one thing. I couldn't build residential apartments. The code required windows, setbacks, and minimum room sizes that my narrow lot couldn't support. But the code didn't prevent me from building a non-habitable structure. I started researching something called air rights. In New York, every piece of land comes with the right to build up into the sky. If you don't use your air rights, you can sell them. But if you do use them, you own that vertical space forever. I calculated the FAR, floor area ratio, of my lot. Based on the zoning, I was allowed to build a structure up to 300 feet tall, as long as it wasn't for people to live in. So I designed the Needle. It wasn't a building. It was essentially a massive vertical steel billboard support structure. It was 20 feet wide, 5 feet deep, and 300 feet tall. Inside, there would be nothing but a metal staircase and elevator shaft for maintenance. On the side facing Sterling's tower, I planned to mount a massive LED billboard. But here was the genius part. I positioned the structure right up to the property line. Sterling's tower, the Zenith, had floor-to-ceiling glass windows starting from the 10th floor up to the penthouse on the 30th floor. My structure would rise parallel to his building, blocking the view of every single unit on the east side. Instead of seeing the sunrise over the city, his tenants would see the back of a rusty steel wall. And the best part? It was perfectly legal. I submitted the plans to the Department of Buildings. The clerk looked at the blueprints and laughed. "What is this? A monument to narrowness?" "It's an art installation," I lied. "Modernist sculpture." Because it wasn't a residential building, the approval process was faster. No fire safety for tenants, no plumbing requirements, just structural integrity. 3 weeks later, the permit was approved. I went to the bank. I took out a construction loan against the value of the land. I hired a steel crew. Construction began on a Monday. Sterling didn't notice at first. He was too busy selling pre-sale condos for $5 million each. His marketing brochure promised unobstructed East River views. When the steel beams started rising past the 2nd floor, he ignored it. When they reached the 10th floor and blocked the view of the first luxury apartment, Sterling showed up. He stormed onto my tiny construction site, wearing a hard hat that looked new brand. "What is this monstrosity?" he screamed over the sound of riveting guns. "It's my legacy, Arthur. I call it the Finger." "You can't build this," he yelled. "You are blocking my light. You're destroying my property value." "I own the air rights, Arthur. I can build whatever I want, and I'm going all the way to the top. I'm going to block the penthouse." He turned pale. The penthouse was his personal unit. He had designed it specifically for the morning view. "I'll sue you," he threatened. "I'll bury you in court." "Go ahead," I said. "My permit is stamped. My zoning is compliant. Sue me. By the time the judge sees the case, I'll be on the 20th floor." Construction moved fast. Since I wasn't building rooms or plumbing, the Needle rose at a rate of 1 floor every 2 days. It was just steel beams and cladding. By the time Sterling's lawyers filed the injunction, we were already at the 15th floor. I stood in court next to my lawyer, a man named Saul who specialized in zoning disputes. Sterling had hired a team of 5 attorneys. They argued that my structure was a nuisance and had no economic value. The judge looked at the plans. "Mr. Leo," the judge asked, "what is the purpose of this structure? It looks like a wall." "It is a billboard support structure, Your Honor," I explained.
I plan to mount a high-definition LED screen on the north face to display art and advertisements to the city." "And does it violate any setbacks?" the judge asked. "No, Your Honor," Saul interjected. "We are exactly on the property line. We own the air rights up to 300 feet. Mr. Sterling built his tower with glass walls right up to the edge of his property. He assumed nobody would ever build next to him. That was a business risk he took." The judge nodded. "It seems legal. Injunction denied. You may continue building." Sterling stormed out of the courtroom. He knew the clock was ticking. Back at the construction site, the impact was immediate. The spite wall was now blocking the view of floors 10 through 20 of Sterling's tower. Real estate agents started calling Sterling in panic. "Mr. Sterling," one agent said, "the buyer for Unit 15B just backed out. They came for a viewing, and instead of the river, they saw a rusted steel wall 5 feet from the window. They demanded their deposit back." "Offer them a discount," Sterling yelled. "I offered 20% off," the agent said. "They said they wouldn't live there for free. It feels like a prison cell." Unit by unit, Sterling's pre-sales began to collapse. He was losing millions in canceled contracts. The buzz around the Zenith shifted from luxury living to the tower with the wall. But I wasn't done. I wanted to hit him where it hurt the most. I wanted the penthouse. We kept building. Floor 25, floor 28, floor 30. On a Tuesday morning, the steel beams finally rose above the parapet of Sterling's roof. I had workers weld a massive solid steel plate right in front of the master bedroom window of the penthouse. Sterling's $50 million morning view was now a view of gray metal. I instructed my foreman to paint a smiley face on the steel plate facing Sterling's window. That afternoon, my phone rang. It was Sterling.
"You made your point," Sterling said. His voice was tired. "Take it down." "Take what down?" I asked innocently. "My art installation?" "I'll buy the lot," Sterling said. $1 million, cash. That is 20 times what you offered me initially. You win. Take the money and go." $1 million? I laughed. "Arthur, the steel alone cost me $2 million. I have investors to pay back. And honestly, I'm growing fond of the view." $5 million, Sterling snapped. "Don't be greedy, kid. It's a patch of dirt." "It's not just dirt anymore, Arthur," I said. "It is the control valve for your entire building. How many buyers have canceled? 10? 20? That's $50 million in lost revenue already, and we haven't even turned on the lights yet." "Lights?" Sterling asked. "What lights?" "Oh, I forgot to tell you," I said. "I ordered the LED screen. It's a commercial-grade billboard, 3,000 nits of brightness. I plan to run advertisements for a local injury lawyer, 24 hours a day. It's going to shine bright neon yellow light directly into your penthouse bedroom. You won't need an alarm clock. You'll wake up to the glow of a blinking 1-800 number." There was silence on the other end. I could hear his breathing getting heavier. "You are a monster," he whispered. "I'm a developer, Arthur," I corrected him. "Just like you. You taught me that land has no feelings, only value. Right now, the value of my land is that it destroys the value of yours." "Name your price," he growled. I looked at my spreadsheet. I calculated the cost of the land, the construction loan, the legal fees, and the pain and suffering tax for how he treated me. $15 million, I said, plus you cover the cost of demolition. "You are insane," Sterling shouted. "I'll never pay that." "Then enjoy the neon sign," I said. "It gets installed on Friday." I hung up. I knew he would call back. He had no choice. He had pre-sold the penthouse to a Russian oligarch for $55 million. If the Russian saw the steel wall and the neon sign, he would walk away. Sterling would lose the sale and his reputation would be trash. Thursday night, my lawyer called me. "He folded," Saul said. "They sent the contract, $15 million, and a separate agreement to pay for the dismantling of the structure within 30 days. We signed the deal the next morning. Sterling refused to be in the room. He sent his VP. When the wire transfer hit my account, $15 million, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I had turned a $10,000 piece of junk land into a fortune. The demolition crews arrived a week later. It took them 2 weeks to take down the Needle. As the steel beams came down, the view for the tenants of the Zenith was restored. I'm sure they were relieved, but nobody was more relieved than Sterling. I took a walk past the site one last time before moving on. I saw Sterling standing outside his building, looking up at the penthouse. He saw me. He didn't yell, he didn't curse, he just nodded. It was a nod of respect. In the game of real estate, there are no friends, only worthy opponents. I had beaten him at his own game. I used the money to start my own firm, but I don't build spite houses anymore. I build affordable housing. I use my knowledge of zoning loopholes to find ways to build apartments that regular people can actually afford. Every now and then, I see Sterling at charity galas. We don't talk, but whenever he sees me, he checks his watch and walks the other way. He knows that if I see an opportunity, I won't hesitate to build a wall. Real estate is a brutal business, but it taught me one thing: size doesn't matter, leverage matters. You can be the smallest player in the room, but if you stand in exactly the right spot, you can cast a shadow over a giant. If you ever feel powerless against a big corporation or bully, remember my story. Find their view. Find the thing they cherish most, and then build something right in front of it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of high-stakes real estate revenge, hit that like button and subscribe. See you in the next video.